All right, here we are. It's another episode of Sippin' on the Road. It's Matt McClearin from The Invasion with Donovan Lewis on the ticket, and we are hanging out tonight at Armor Brewing Company in Allen, in Texas, which I assume you know. But if you didn't, Allen, just about half an hour north of downtown Dallas, right off 75 in Bethany. This is a wonderful facility, a beautiful brewery, and also a great restaurant. And we are here tonight. Our guest this week is Brian Martin, the head brewer at Armor. Welcome in. Glad to have you, man.
Thanks for having me.
So we're going to drink some good beers. I know you've brought a little. But before we get to these, and this is a first on Sippin' on the Road, Brian has a beer. He did not tell me what it is that is a surprise beer that he thinks I'm going to love. But Brian, I've talked to you several times in the past, and I know your story a little bit, but for the people that are watching this, tell us a little bit how you got into beer, because I know you've been around, and what brought you to end up here at Armor.
Yeah, so where did my beer journey start? I was Army. I got stationed in Germany in 2009. I turned 21 on an airplane on the way to Germany.
All right.
So I thought Corona was the end-all be-all of beer when I got over there, and was very quickly re-educated, let's say. So yeah, fell in love with beer in Europe, and you can kind of see that in most of the beers I brew, very European inspired. Yeah, got out of the Army, went back to Virginia just as the craft beer boom was kind of hitting there in 2013. Started up some breweries up that way. Spent some time out in Boulder, Colorado, at Avery, working in their special projects department, doing barrel-aged beers, high-gravity beers, sour beers.
Which, if I may, for those of you that don't know, Avery is one of the preeminent breweries in the country, I would say. I've been to that facility. It's a beautiful place, and man, they do some great stuff.
Do some amazing beers up there. They're very outside the box. But yeah, still stick true to what I like to call beer flavored beer at the end of the day. So yeah, got a lot of influences from all over through that time period. And a couple years ago, linked up with Mike, the owner of Armor here, and he brought me down to Texas from Virginia, and here we are, closing in on our first year since we opened the place up, and doing some cool stuff.
Yeah, very cool stuff. And I will say, I mean, this is one of those breweries that I always wish I lived a little bit closer to, because I'd be here all the time. Because you know this, I've told you this many times. Absolutely love what Armor is doing. I think that they're one of the more underrated breweries, maybe because they're probably new. And Allen, I don't think people think of beer when you think of Allen, but this is a great place. If you're a craft beer fan in North Texas, Armor needs to be on your list of places to come, because one of the things I love about what you do here is it's not just, they have really good IPAs. They have really good sours. Man, their lagers are good. I think for the styles of beers that you do, and you do a lot of different varieties, that you are brewing true to the style for each of those varieties, and you nail it.
That's our goal. Thank you.
You're welcome. That's just what I think. All right, so let's drink some of these. Where do you want to start?
We're going to start on your right, Easy Co. This is our if we have a single flagship, this is our flagship. It's our number one beer here in the tap room.
So this is just a lager, just straight American lager.
Straight American lager. Very European inspired. So it's got its roots and its recipe from Munich-Helles, kind of back to that German pedigree.
So are you using like the German noble hops in this?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's all German noble hops, Hallertau Middle Brew. It is U.S. grown grain, so it's mainly Pilsner malt, a couple other little specialty malts in there. All of our ingredients, by the way, are listed on every can.
There's another thing I love about Armor.
Not secret about anything.
No, which I wish more breweries would do this, because all the information, when you see these guys in the market, and eventually the cans are going to be out there on your local shelves, everything you need to know, the ingredients, the story of the beer, what it's supposed to be, IBUs, ABVs, all that is on the can, which is great. But this is super easy. Hence
the name. So this name kind of works several different ways. It's an easy drinking beer. Mike and I are both Army. So Easy Company is Band of Brothers, notoriety, the 506 Infantry Regiment, who I was actually stationed with at Fort Campbell. So it's there's a lot of meaning and story behind the brand and the can and the name, and I think it does a lot of justice to the beer. It's 5.06% ABV, which is kind of a nod to the 506 Infantry Regiment. So we like to hide little Easter eggs in everything we do.
Yeah, and you can see that perhaps how clear that is. Just easy, light, super clean. This is the type of beer, especially for your Texas summers, and even as we get into the fall when it's still hot, this is one of those. You guys listen to the show, when you do just a sip, you hear me use the term crushable. This is one of those beers that is crushable. Easy company, but a crushable beer that you can have multiples of that just gives you a good flavor without overwhelming you or really filling you up too much. Nicely done.
Thank you.
As usual. I don't think I've ever had a beer from you I was like, I don't know about this one. Because they're always so good. But you brought up an interesting point, and I wanted to bring this up about the name of this brewery, Armor Brewing Company, which some of you may be familiar with the coffee company as well, but Mike Todrick, one of the owners, and his wife, Jen, but Mike was in the Armory division, hence Armor Brewing.
So the name of the brewery and then a lot of the beers all stem from both of our military experience and military background. So Armor Officer, Armor Brewing Company, just kind of
veteran-owned and operated.
Veteran-owned and operated. Brewed by veterans, enjoyed by everyone.
There it is. All right, so let's move on. That is the Easy Company American Lager here at Armor. What do we have next? Where do you want to go?
Blood Orange Goza. We're going to go right down the line, right to the left. This guy.
That's the surprise beer. Or no?
That's Armor. Sorry, I said, what did I say?
We're doing the Blood Orange Goza.
Blood Orange Goza. That's Blood Orange.
All right. I wasn't sure which one was the surprise.
I thought I misspoke. Surprise beer is far left.
Definitely Blood Orange. So tell me about this beer and the process that goes into making a Goza true to style, because I think that a lot of breweries will call a beer a Goza that's truly not actually a Goza.
It's probably the most frequently, I guess, misidentified beer style. So the Goza style is from Goslar, Germany. Kind of takes its namesake from its birth city. The water in Goslar was very high saline content. So traditional Gozas were very high in salt. They're very salty beer. So we, all of our beers, by the way, are stripped down to reverse osmosis water, and then the water chemistry is built up per the style of the beer. So a lot of salt in this beer, amongst the other minerals that we add back, kind of gives it that sharpness and that salty finish. That pairs really well with the fruit and the effervescence of this beer. So it's highly carbed, very fruity, very aromatic. This is a non-beer drinker's beer. So,
yes, and I think that's a really good point, the non-beer drinker's beer, because people, and I run into people all the time that will say, I don't really like beer. And there are certain styles, and this is one of them.
This changes their mind every time.
That has so much more depth in the beer, I think, because you get, if you're familiar with the Berliner Weiss type style, it has a little bit of that tartness, but you get that salt. Like a true Goza, you should get that salt in it. You get it in this. You get that blood orange aroma, but you also get the blood orange flavor with, I think, without it being overwhelming to what the base Goza is.
And it finishes very dry. I think that's what my biggest gripe with most Gozas, contemporary U.S. Gozas, is they finish very sweet. It leaves that kind of heavy mouthfeel. It sits really heavy on your stomach. It's a very dry finishing beer, so it's almost champagne-esque, cider-esque. Some drier red wines. You'll kind of get some similarities there. If you're not a beer drinker and you want to try a beer, this is the beer to try. That said, beer drinkers love it as well. It's a gateway beer. Call it our starter sour.
I love a good Goza. But I like it when it's done really well, like this one is. And again, Blood Orange Goza. Seems like you always have this or some variant of a Goza on tap here. Blood Orange is always here.
Blood Orange is 365 days a year. This is out in distribution, so tap handles around the DFW area have it right now. It's actually our number one seller in distribution so far.
I can see why. This is fantastic.
It's going to be out in package soon. But yeah, it does very well here in the tap room. We do variations of it that are tap room only. We actually just launched our watermelon Goza today. It'll be around for a few weeks. So we've got a watermelon gazpacho and a watermelon sorbet that got released with it also.
Really?
So
okay.
Yeah.
Creativity from Armor, which is always great.
Watermelon.
And again, fantastic. The Blood Orange Goza checking in at 4.3%. So a light beer that has a lot of flavor, like you said, for the non-beer drinkers that come in and you're looking for something and you're not sure what to get. And I get this question all the time. I don't really drink craft beer, and I'll take people to a brewery. I don't want to embarrass myself. What should I order? And a lot of the times I go, you might like just an easy lager. You also might like something that is really a good craft beer, but a Goza that doesn't taste like really what you think beer tastes like.
Right. Beer flavored beer that's not what you think of when you think of beer.
delicious. Well done.
Thank you.
All right, where are we going next? Here?
Arbor IPA, the clear one.
Okay, so the surprise is on the end.
Surprise is on the end. So this is Arbor IPA, American IPA, West Coast IPA, kind of a hybrid of the two. This is old school 90s, early 2000s craft beer IPA.
All right, so before we continue, because you said kind of a hybrid between the two, so for those that are watching this, tell me the difference between an American IPA and a West Coast IPA.
You put me on the spot. This is the age-old porter versus stout question.
Right, so
you ask
basically
100
it's the
brewers
same
and you get
thing.
100 answers. It's West Coast to me means it's a little more aggressive, a little more bitter, a little more citrus forward. Where an American IPA, still bitter, still assertively bitter, but a little more on the piney side. It's got a nice hybrid of the pine, the fruit, the tropical, the citrus, all that kind of coming together. There's also just a little splash of rye malt in here, so you get a little of that rye spice that comes
that's what
across
that
in the
is.
end.
All right.
So that finish, again, is very dry, bracingly bitter, and then a little spice to it. Kind of kick it up, make it a little different than
And you
everybody
get that.
else's.
You definitely get a little bit of the rye, and then a little bit, like maybe just like a hint of pine, but citrus tropical for sure. And what I always think is interesting about IPAs is that you can have a really good IPA that, and I think when people think IPA, they think you're going to destroy my palate. I don't like
Right.
bitter. I don't want it to be punched in the mouth with hops, which all beer has hops. But at only 65 IBUs, the
It's
perceived
65
bitterness on this is not
Balanced
super high.
IBUs.
Yeah.
So it's I always hesitate to throw IBUs out because I can make a 65 IBU beer that'll melt your tongue,
Fair,
and I can make
fair.
a 65 IBU beer you won't even taste the hops. So it's a very well balanced 65 IBU. It's got that bitter bite for the people that are looking for it, but it goes away. It doesn't linger around, and it's just a really smooth, crisp American IPA.
All right, so I see on the can here 6.5%.
Yep.
So tell me about the hops that you use in this to achieve what we're tasting.
So this has got a blend of 4 different hops in it. There's Columbus, Chinook, Ekuanot, and Idaho 7. So each of the 4 is kind of hitting a different focal point on the flavor of hops. So there's Idaho 7, you're getting all that tropical citrus coming through. Columbus is that old school American piney bitterness, early addition in the boil, and then Ekuanot and Chinook are kind of playing in the background there with kind of a blend between the two.
Yeah, and a lot of these, that's what, I went down the rabbit hole many years ago on hops and IPAs, because I would have certain IPAs I would have that I loved, certain that I didn't like, and sometimes it's malt versus not as malty, but then sometimes it's simple as, you can read base and then throw in whatever different hops that you want and make the beer taste completely different based on what hops you're using and when you put them in the boil.
And we've actually got a couple of pilot beers on right now that are kind of an experiment of that. So we like to play around. We're not even a year open, and we've had 50 different beers, over 50 different beers come out. But right now, last week we launched 2 new hazy IPAs that were the exact same grain bill, the exact same malt, but each of them had 2 different hops. And they are totally different beers, and it's pretty much split right down the middle.
I think that's like I enjoy personally, and a lot of you that watch this that may listen to the show and whatnot. No, I love going to new breweries, and I love trying new beers. And I think the breweries that are doing new beers and challenging yourselves and using your creativity to do different things, it's fun for you, but it's also great for the consumer because I can come in here, I can get something like the Blood Orange or the Easy Company or the IPA that's always here that I love.
Get your staple, your
or I
core,
can jump into something new.
here.
I'm like, oh, what's Brian doing different this time around?
And so it's Thursday today. What we do on Thursday is $3 Thursday. We always launch our new beers on Thursdays, and the new beer is $3.
$3.
Not just the first one. It's all of them. $3 all day, every Thursday. New beer.
Well, good to know where you can find me each and every Thursday moving forward here at Armor Brewing Company in Allen. All right, let's move on to this final one. So I don't know what this is because you told me I got a surprise for you.
All right, so this is a baby of mine. If you've been to Armor, you probably know my dog is always here. Winston, my border collie. We brewed this beer for him. He's gone through some lymphoma treatments and all, so we wanted to raise some money for him and then for other canine cancer charities. So this is a 10.5% triple IPA, Mosaic and Galaxy. This is, I think this is going to be your new favorite Armor beer, Matt.
You're not going to be wrong because it smells incredible, one. And Mosaic and Galaxy, to me, Mosaic is one of the classic hops, I think, that are just, anytime you see a beer that has Mosaic in it, if you're an IPA fan, you're going to love it. And Galaxy, in that same family, that is one of those, if you see a Galaxy hop, it's not as old school probably as Mosaic has been,
right,
but still one of those hops that you see and you know, I'm going to love this beer. All right, let's see. It smells incredible.
Lots of Mosaic. You get a little bit of that Galaxy kind of finishing into the end of that earthiness, and there you go. That's all we needed.
That is a beer, my friends. That is nice. Man, and it's just, it doesn't drink like it's 10.5%.
No.
Like if you didn't say that before I drank that, I would have thought this is just maybe a double because it's a little, the body of it is a little bit more.
It's definitely a little heavier. It's got.
I wouldn't have guessed over 10% on this bad boy.
10.5.
Man. Oh, that is.
I hide alcohol very well.
Nice.
I do high gravity beers. That's one thing I'll give myself credit for.
That
I hide
is
alcohol
really,
very well.
really nicely done. Again, that is a 10.5% hazy triple IPA.
Yep.
Man, and
Mosaic and Galaxy.
Drink like that. I'm telling you guys, I know a lot of people that are hazy IPA fans. This is you got to come have this at Armor Brewing. This is really good. I feel like we're doing an like I'm Guy Fieri and we're on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. And I'm like, bam, or whatever he says.
We got
like,
a
my hair is like sticking up. Like this is
47 patty burger challenge. We can make it up right now.
Okay, I think I would fail that one, but yeah, this is Brian for real. This is I think you may be right. So, cheers, man. They have a beer here that we don't have out here called Fog of War, which I absolutely love. It's an IPA, phenomenal beer. And I think you're right, because you said this is going to be your new favorite.
It's not going to be around long, though.
This is really, really, really good.
So
Armor Brewing Company.
This is the only one that's taproom only out of these four. The other three are out in distro. Yeah.
So when he says distro, he's talking about distribution. So you can find these. They'll be, so in the beer world, pull the curtain back a little bit, you call distribution distro. And when you have cans on shelves, you say package. Say, oh, what do you have in package? So that means that you have cans, and I know your cans are going to be hitting shelves very soon, so you can be finding these in stores.
Plenty of cans here at the tap room.
You always come to the tap room, they have it to go. You got these. But when you talk about a tap room exclusive or a small batch, what that means is that you're only going to find it right here at Armor. So you got to make that drive wherever you may be. Maybe you're close to Allen, maybe you're not. I don't know, but it's well worth it. All these beers are available. You can buy in cans right now here at the tap room. They're all on tap. But for those of you that may not live in the area, be looking for these on shelves at your local stores because they're going to be coming out soon, which is one of the reasons why I love doing this, about that passion of craft beer. Wherever you live, you're going to find something you love. And when we find stuff that we love when we do this show, it's going to be coming close to you, which I think is great. So you can stop by your local store, whatever it may be, ask somebody who has that beer section, hey, where can I find Armor? And they'll help you out and let you know. Because I'm going to tell you right now, and again, I said this at the beginning, and I'm not kidding. Armor is one of my favorite breweries in DFW. I love these guys. I think what they're doing is fantastic. The level of beer they're creating, and it goes back to what I said at the beginning. That is a lager. That is a true to style Goza. That is a true to style IPA. And this thing for a hazy triple, you just don't get a brewery everywhere that is nailing styles the way these guys are doing it. So find yourself at Armor, and I hope to find you soon. Brian, enjoyed it, man.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for your time. Always enjoy talking beer with you.
Always love having you here.
All right, so there it is. Sipping on the Road. We'll have another episode coming soon. In the meantime, I hope you check out the show with me and Donovan Lewis on the Ticket. 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. You can find us. And don't forget, Just a Sip every Friday at 12:30, where we sample beers just like this. Local craft beers each and every Friday. Hoping to expand your palate and find something new. But without me, I hope you find something and drink local. Cheers, guys.